Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Wednesday morning. It's Stephen Whiteside here from the uptrend.com. Well, yesterday was an interesting day. A problem at Cloudflare took down a lot of the internet, including the front end of our website. It didn't take out the back end. The back end was still active all morning, so you had access to your charts, but certainly the front end had an issue, and we had an issue publishing the video yesterday morning as well. Now, this morning we've got stock index futures trading above fair value at the moment. We also have gold up and Bitcoin up a little bit. Bitcoin's having trouble holding the 90,000 level. We'll have to see how that works out throughout the day. Now, just as an example here, we've got the NASDAQ up 125 points. It was down 283 points yesterday. So we're up less than half of yesterday's losses. And of course, the number that we're looking at, the 283 loss, is from the previous close. To see something actually change, we would need a close above yesterday's high. That would be the first sign that something's starting to change. And, we're not seeing that type of behavior in the pre-market this morning. Now, all the major tech stocks are trading higher this morning. One stock that's out with earnings, Target, is trading lower, down a little over 2.5%. The Target already on a sell signal here, so that will not be a change in trend. Now, we had Home Depot out with earnings, and it was going to trade lower in the pre-market, and it continued to trade lower throughout the day, actually closing at the low of the day down over 6%. So certainly no change in trend there. They were complaining about, of course, weakness in the economy, but also the fact there was no major storms this summer. And Home Depot makes a lot of money from those storms. Now, I get charts and tidbits every day. We know that the U.S. economy is floundering and heading for disaster. It's certainly not reflected in the overall stock market. It's reflected in Target's price. It's reflected in Home Depot's price, but certainly not in those big cap tech stocks that we love to follow. Here's a chart showing office delinquencies as a percentage, and you can see during the financial crisis that we got up to this point. Right now, with the stock market hitting all-time new highs, so is this particular indicator. So, who owns those office buildings? Well, mostly banks, pension funds. Those are the big owners of office buildings, and you can see that if you've got an office building on your portfolio, it is not doing well at the moment. Now we're on FedWatch today. The Fed minutes come out this afternoon, and everyone will be dissecting those minutes after 2 p.m. So look for some extra volatility after 2 in the afternoon. Today is also NVIDIA Day. NVIDIA comes out with earnings this afternoon. It was down $5.24 yesterday. It's up $2.87 currently in the pre-market. It hasn't taken out the November low yet, so that is still a potential area of support. The October low is not too far below the November low. So if the November low goes, I would imagine we're going to head sharply lower from that point. You can see that we're struggling here to hold the flypaper channel, and if that starts to break down, that would be very bearish for the overall stock market. Looking at what worked yesterday, well, Canadian energy stocks were the big winners. The big losers were the semiconductors. Now, fear continued to rise on Tuesday with the VIX for the S&P 500, the NASDAQ, and the Russell 2000 all continuing to climb, telling us that options traders are a little nervous about which way the market is going next. Looking at the energy sector, starting off with crude oil. Crude oil is back on a buy signal as of Tuesday's close, joining gasoline already on a buy signal and closing higher yesterday. Natural gas dipped below the lower channel line, but ended the day up 10 cents. So a higher close on Tuesday for natural gas. Now, Canadian energy stocks were the big winners yesterday, while the big winner in that sector was Birchcliff. And then in the U.S., we had energy stocks higher as well. And the big winner there was Valero, up nearly 4% on the day. Moving on to the metals, copper struggling here, still on a sell signal. Copper miners on a sell signal. Gold, on the other hand, lived through another day on a buy signal. It traded below the lower channel line once again on Tuesday, but did not close there. Gold is currently trading higher in the pre-market on Wednesday morning. The GLD back in the channel. We've got gold stocks, whether you're looking at the GDX or the juniors or on the TSX having inside days on Tuesday. There is Newmont traded down to the lower channel line yesterday. End of the day down 49 cents. Not a big move there. And then looking at Agnico Eagle, still trading in the channel, still on a buy signal, no change there. Now, the price of silver has been in the channel for the past 2 days. There's the SLV at the upper channel line. Looking at the miners, inside day for the silver miners, struggling to stay on a buy signal here. And there's the junior miners as well, still struggling to stay on a buy signal. Looking at Pan American Silver, closing above the upper channel line, while Wheaton closed in the channel, so no change in trend for either of those stocks. And you can see Wheaton had an inside day on Tuesday. Let's finish off this morning's presentation looking at those big cap tech stocks. Starting off with the NASDAQ itself, there's the NASDAQ 100 making a new low for this move on Tuesday. We're trying to hold the 593.75 level. Just below that is the October low. So I think if that goes, then we're certainly heading down to the 578.13 level. There's the NASDAQ in Toronto. And if you're not short the NASDAQ at this time, hopefully you're long the bear ETFs, whether in Toronto or New York. In New York, we hit our next price target yesterday. So cha-ching, you got to lock in some profits there. There's the Magnificent 7 ETF itself, closing pretty close to the recent low from Friday, but making a lower low yesterday. If you look here, we've got the October lows not too far away from where we are right now. If that breaks, then I would imagine that our next target to the downside, the market's going to be looking at those August highs as a potential area of support. Looking at Apple's on its second day of a sell signal. Amazon down sharply yesterday. Obviously, the market is not waiting for those Black Friday sales results to sell Amazon. They're doing that ahead of time. Alphabet on a buy signal right now, not something I would chase. Warren Buffett recently made a purchase in Amazon or in Alphabet, excuse me, and that's getting everybody excited. There's Meta making a new low for this move, and it's trying to hold the $600 level here. We're still attached to it. We did close below it, but the high yesterday was 603.66, so they're still grasping at that $600 level. Next target to the downside is 562.50. There's Meta in Toronto. Looking at Microsoft, big down day yesterday. We're trading below the $500 level, and look at 500. That was a major area of support. So that's not a good sign for Microsoft. We're still attached to the $500 level yet. The market hasn't given up on it. 484.38, 468.75 are the next two targets to the downside for Microsoft. NVIDIA, we talked about earlier. There's Tesla down on the day, but did not take out Friday's low just yet. We're trading below the $400 level, but we're still attached to it. We closed just above it. 375 is our next target to the downside. And then looking at Broadcom, still on a sell signal here, no change there. Big area of support here is down at the 328.13 level. You can see it acted as support back in October. Now, right below that is a nice open gap. And so if we take out the October lows, then they should run down to fill that open gap. And so 312.50 would certainly be a realistic target to the downside for Broadcom. Looking at Shopify, new low for Shopify on Tuesday in New York. We're trying to hold the 137.50 level. 125 is our next target to the downside, and that would come down to fill the gap from back in early August. And then looking in Toronto, we're trying to find support at 187.50. And if that breaks, then 171.88 would be our next target. And that would certainly be enough to fill the gap from early August. Okay, folks, that is all for this morning's presentation. So far, it looks like it's going to be fairly quiet out there this morning. Have a great day. Next time you'll hear my voice is on Thursday morning.
Thanks for tuning in until the very end of today's stock market timing educational video. If you found the content valuable, don't forget to express your support by hitting the like button, leave a comment, sharing with your friends, and subscribing to our channel for more insightful updates. Remember, in the world of stocks, timing is crucial, and following the trend can be your greatest ally. If you would like more information on how we can help you better time the stock market, please visit theuptrend.com.